Okay. We is live. Just let your captain get his bearings. One more test from the captain. Okay. And welcome to the first ever Flights of Fear with your captain, Ultimo Crofto. And today is going to be a pilot of a pilot for this video. Pun intended. Potentially. So, the idea with this is quite simple. It's a Sunday night. And we are all familiar with the Sunday Scaries because we have work tomorrow. And we hate that feeling. But I want to take your mind away from that. I want to take your mind away. Let me just get settled here in the cockpit. In the Croft pit. Here. We want to take your mind off the worries of being back at work next week, or at school, or at college, or whatever you do, even if you're unemployed. It's still, even if you're unemployed, I've been unemployed even though I'm a professional pilot now. There was a time I was unemployed, and even then Sundays felt pretty grim. Welcome, Snowy McCool Gaming, to the Croft Pit. So this stream is about alleviating the fears of the week ahead by replacing them with new fears. Fears of tales of the unexpected, tales of the weird, of the macabre. This is what we're here for. So while we're in the air, I'll grant you an opportunity to sit back, relax, and enjoy tales that sometimes will be based on reality, sometimes will be conceptual. We'll see how we get on. This could be the first and last, but we'll give it a go. Anyway, we do need to actually take off here. So in honour of Snowy McCool Gaming, for the very first flight, a very brief flight, because we need to see if if Ultimo Crofto flights in this wonderful Boeing. I don't know if it's a 747. I wasn't told beforehand. They just take me straight to the plane without even telling me anything about the spec on it, because I don't need to know. I can fly jets, I can fly stealth bombers, and I can fly commercial flights. It doesn't matter to me, so there's no worries there. So we're going to take off, and in honour of our friend and ally, Snowy McCool Gaming, we're going to fly to Leeds Bradford Airport. That's right, we're flying to Leeds. And we're flying from Newcastle. So it's a short flight, should be 15-20 minutes, weather dependent. As you can see, the clouds are ominous, but not too scary for a pilot of my distinguished service. Anyway, let me just check my flight notes here, and I think we should take off, and then we can have a run through. Of what's on the agenda today. Okay, so let's take the parking brake off. Let's pull the throttle. Let's get a nice a nice outside view. This is a new drone camera we've purchased from Tees Valley Airport. It's been tested at the moment to see how good it is, and it actually follows the plane, so you can get a nice third person view. So as you know, anyone who's been on flights before, you've got to build up speed, and then as we're building up speed, we slowly ascend, not descend, that would be a whole different type of journey. We ascend, we take up our landing gear. There you go. Then we just get enough. I won't run through this process in every flight, by the way. This is because it's the pilot episode, and I'm aware that many passengers will not be aware of the processes involved. But after this flight, if people choose to fly with Crofto Airlines again, then you'll know the process. Of course, I was happy to run through the process for any young'uns that want to, learn. So let's slowly angle our way so that we're on the right, heading in the right direction. You may hear some noises from the air traffic control team. Nothing to be worried about. If you hear noises such as lightning ahead, please be careful, you might die, just ignore that. That's fine. That's usual. Turbulence is fine. The plane might rattle about. It's fine. I'm an expert. Okay, let's get a bit more. Get a bit more airtime here. Airtime. We are in the air, of course. This isn't skateboarding. We make our way up, and there we go. I feel like this is a nice just slightly tilt there. Here's the inside of the, as you can see, it's a very difficult view for a pilot, but I'm used to this. Okay, so there we go, there's a nice bit of sunshine. Follow you to Hell Airport and back, lad. Absolutely, thank you very much, sir. And of course Snowy McCool is on this flight as well. And with that, unfortunately, we do have the take off your seatbelt noise, but it's malfunctioning today. Maybe for the next flight I'll have the sound effects, but at the moment I don't. I'm afraid I've got too much going on. This is the first flight, and as you might be aware, I'm a bit nervous because I want this to be a success. So now that we are comfortable in the air, I want to talk about today's story. So I want you to sit back, not too much. Don't intrude on the passenger behind you, because we hate that. We hate when people lean back in the seats onto the person behind, because that's rude. We also hate kids that kick chairs. We also hate kids that scream and shout on planes. We don't want any of that. We have a policy on Crofto Airlines: any screaming, any shouting, any altercations, anyone who's too drunk, anyone who's too loud, I'm afraid you're kicked out with a parachute, and best of luck to you. So, with that in mind, sit back, relax and enjoy as I tell you a tale, or rather an incident, that has played on my mind for some time and has been explored many times over by other content creators, but not pilots, not licensed pilots like I am. So, some time ago, I listened to a story regaled by a gentleman called Mr. Ballen. That's Mr. MRBALLEN on YouTube. Look him up if you've not heard of him. And he is a master telling stories, much more so than I am. However, he doesn't do it while flying at the same time, so, you know. And he told a tale about a cave incident in America, North America, in Utah, I believe. It might be Utah. I'm doing a lot of this off the cuff, so you'll have to excuse me, but the main theme is pretty straightforward. So there was a cave, past tense, because it has since been filled with concrete and can no longer be accessed at all. Watched another video of a guy who trekked up to the location, and yeah, sure enough, it was inaccessible. It's called the Nutty Putty Cave. It's a weird name and quite a funny, cheerful name, but it's not a funny, cheerful place. So, for those of you that are claustrophobic, it would be the last place you would want to visit. I think being in an elevator on your own, I'm not American, in a lift on your own, even in a coffin on your own, would be preferable to this place. So the Nutty Putty Cave is one of, I don't know, thousands, probably millions, I don't know, I haven't checked it out, of cave networks, systems in America. But you get these people, a bit like those who climb buildings, or people who partake in free solo climbing, which is where you climb rock faces, cliff faces without a harness. Absolute insanity. For adrenaline, I guess, for a kick. I guess for fame and glory now, I suppose, with cameras being so prevalent. But Nutty Putty Cave, we're going back to 2009, I guess. Obviously we had the internet then, we had cameras then, but it wasn't as easy as it is now. You didn't have GoPros. I don't think if you had GoPros then, they would have been very primitive. Not like this drone we've got here following the Boeing. We didn't have drones. So in 2009 though, there were caves, and you would get cave divers, spelunkers, who would, enjoy going into caves. Now, I've watched a film called The Descent, and that's done more than enough to put me off ever going in setting foot in a cave. And also an episode of Father Ted where he discovers Graham Norton in a cave. That as well has put me off. So, nonetheless, there are people out there still to this day that enjoy going into caves. I also watched a film with Viggo Mortensen and Colin Farrell in about rescuing those Thai kids in Thailand who got trapped in that cave as well. That was a good film, Ron Howard directed, but again, it puts you off going in caves. But in 2009, there was a group of experienced cave divers, not novices, not noobs, who decided to explore Nutty Putty Cave. Now, Nutty Putty Cave was notorious for having extremely narrow passageways, to the point where there was a section of it called the Birth Canal, which, yeah, you don't need much imagination to figure that out. If and when we are successful with this pilot, as you can see, I've got no co-pilot here because don't need one. don't need one. So in future I might be able to have a PowerPoint images to go with this, and I'll project a screen just down the alleyway there so that passengers can see. So in future I might be able to show an actual image of the interior of the Nutty Putty cave, because it has been mapped out. It was quite well mapped out actually, considering what happened. So 2009, a bloke called John Edward Jones, an American guy, quite young I believe, he just recently had a child, if I'm not mistaken. Again, the details I'm not totally au fait with, but I know the principles of the story. So John, he was visiting family in the area, Utah again I believe it was, and he decided to go with his brother and some friends to Nutty Putty Cave. He'd probably been in there before, if not he'd been in other caves. He decided to go, and if you look online there is actually videos of Nutty Putty Cave. There's a guy exploring it with an old camera, again from that period, 2009, so you get an idea of it. When I put this flight onto my YouTube channel, I'll put the links in the description, as they say. And yeah, so they decided, you know, we're on holiday, you know, seeing family, you know, why, you know, no, let's not go out for a pizza, or go see a film, or go to the theatre, or go to watch, I don't know what the Americans do, watch baseball. No, let's go into a cave and get pretty much stuck for fun. Let's do that. So, just make sure I'm still on course here. Even though I am a bloke, I can multitask a bit. Don't let it be said that men can't multitask. Although I should probably wait until I land the damn thing. So, they went to Nutty Putty Cave, John, his brother and a few others. Went inside the cave. You know, everything's going, like I say, they were experienced cave divers. They'd done it plenty of times before, knew what they were doing. Explored it a bit, and then John decided there were different sections of the cave. There wasn't just the birth canal, there was other bits as well. Again, I'll put a link to the map in the description so you can have a look. And John decided he wanted to explore the birth canal. The problem with cave systems, especially extremely narrow ones, is it can be quite easy to get confused about different exits and entry ways. Here's me talking as if I actually know what cave diving's like. Have I been in a cave before? I feel like I have. I think I've been on not an expedition, but been around a cave where you go with a group and you've got helmets on and all that, and it's really... I've been in a mine, I know that much. I've actually got health and safety qualifications, not qualifications, certificates to say that I can... I have the skills and ability to go into a mine shaft. So, but a mine is different to a cave, of course. Nonetheless, it does give you an idea of how claustrophobic it is, how dark it is. Yeah. So, John decided to explore the birth canal. And as I say, it is mapped out, but if you look at the map you can see there's little bits, it's like tentacles sort of, you know, protruding out into different areas, and there's only certain tentacles that lead to safety, but there's certain tentacles, certain sections of... Do you know what, I'm going to have to slow down a bit here because I feel like I'm ahead of schedule. We might have to do what those flights did a couple of weeks ago when the wind was really bad. in England and Wales, Great Britain. I don't know why I'm saying them individually. When there was flights from Manchester to Belfast and Dublin, they had to circle around for about 2 hours and then end up in Paris. You're getting a flight from Manchester to Belfast, but you wake up in Paris. We might have to circle around for a bit while I tell the story, because I'm well ahead of schedule here. And there was me worrying that it might be over too quick. So that's where we landed down there. We've got plenty of fuel in the tank, so don't worry. Plenty of fuel in the tank. We're in the green. So we might just coast for a bit and just enjoy the skyline here. It's a very beautiful day. Very bright. Even though it started off quite grey. There's another plane up there. So when you see other planes, it's exactly the same as it is with Arriva bus drivers. Just give them a wave. And you're thinking, but how the hell are they going to see you? Pilots know, okay? Pilot's code. So yeah, John Edward Jones went into the birth canal area, and he was going to a section. He was looking to go to a section that got you out to another area of the cave that, you know, was quite open, and you could turn around. You could maybe not stand up. Oh yeah, maybe you could. At the very least, you could get on your haunches and you know, squat. You know, there was a bit more space basically to turn around. Unfortunately, John mistook an exit for an area that hadn't been sort of mapped out, explored before, and he ended up going into, what would you call it, a crevice, a very narrow crevice, very narrow to the point where, you know, you're literally wedged. If you are overweight, forget about it, because at this point the rock is pressing on your chest already, so you're probably struggling to breathe. He still believed he was on the right track, so he saw a little exit, a little opening, so he thought, I'll push on. And that was the biggest mistake, quite literally, of his life, because when he pushed on, he ended up face first, upside down in a crevice with his feet sticking out, and he was wedged in, like, if I can hold my hand up there, he was like wedged in like that. Try and get that up. He was like wedged in a spot like that, upside down with his legs sticking out the top. And the angle of the crevice meant that his legs were sticking out the wrong way, basically. He wouldn't even be able to sort of slide his way out, because his legs would literally have to snap backwards from the knee to be able to get out. He was stuck. He was completely stuck. He was absolutely wedged and upside down and stuck. And then, to me, that is just, yeah, it's the stuff of nightmares. But this is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, passengers. This is only the beginning. So he's stuck, of course, and, you know, cave divers do get stuck. It does happen. Again, look at the incident of in the Thai cave event where they were all rescued by cave divers. Anyway, John realised he was stuck, of course, after trying to get out. No chance, couldn't move his arms, he was just stuck. So his brother found him, because John was obviously shouting out, saying, you know, don't come down here, it's not good. His brother found him, saw his feet sticking out of this hole, and his brother was like, whoa. Knew straight away that it was not a good situation. His brother probably tried to pull him out, but obviously, like I said, he couldn't, because of the physics of it just wouldn't work. So his brother went to get help. Now, bear in mind, it's not a quick trip out of this cave. It's not a quick trip out of it. It takes a while to get back to the surface. So while John's brother's going to go ask for help, because again, bear in mind this is 2009, we might have had mobile phones and stuff like that, but you're in a cave, the signal's probably non-existent. So you have to go outside and you probably have to use a satellite phone or something like that to get help, and then you have to wait for the help to arrive. They're not just on site, because this place is in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere. So while John's brother's going to ask for help, John is stuck upside down in this crevice. Can you imagine that? I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine being stuck upside down. You can't move. You're stuck between rock, sheer rock. The blood's flowing to your head. You would be absolutely apoplectic. And to me, it is probably the worst, one of the worst ways. It's a form of torture. And speaking of which, and this might be more apocryphal than reality, there is mention of a medieval torture device called oubliette, is it? Oubliette? Maybe I'm mispronouncing that, I can't remember. A French word, and that is apparently where in castles they would shove prisoners down, again at a little crevice in the ground, put a cage over the top, like a trapdoor over the top, and you just rot in there. It sounds pretty similar to the Nutty Putty cave, to be honest. So John's brother goes for help. Alright, we are getting close to landing now. We just need to angle this correctly now. We'll go for a fly around and then look to land. So yeah, he goes for help, uses the satellite phone, whatever it is he uses. The help arrives a couple of hours later. So at this point, John's been in the crevice stuck for 3 hours at least, if not more. The help comes. Again, it takes them a while to get to this birth canal. You can only obviously go one at a time because it's too narrow. They identify the situation, and sorry, let me just bring this back up here because it's a bit. We do need to focus on actually landing this behemoth at some point. Yeah, I don't think I'm not going to get this run. So let's focus on getting some air and turning it around and giving it a good run. So yeah. The cave rescuers arrive. They see John's feet sticking out the hole. They're like, "Whoa, this ain't gonna be easy." So in the cave, when a cave diver gets stuck like that, the process is to use a pulley system. So by that I mean they'll attach sort of metal. What would you call them? Like metal clasps to the side, to the cave, to the rock, and then put like a little rope in pulley, attach it to the unfortunate cave diver, and then use like a pulley system to pull them out. Of course, as I've mentioned with John, his legs, the way they were positioned, would not allow to be pulled out in a way that was going to allow him to walk again in perhaps ever. His legs will probably need a snap to pull him out of there, but considering the situation he was in, what are you going to do? It was either have your legs snapped or die. So they started putting the pulley system in place. At this point, John's still talking, he's still receptive. I'd probably passed out from fear at this point, to be honest. I really would, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend to be macho about it. I would have passed out, because as you can see, I prefer to be in the air, not stuck underground. Even though I am scared of heights as well, by the way, but I'd still take that over this any day of the week. So they put the pulley system in place, these cave rescuers, tie it round John's legs, and where's the runway gone? Oh, there it is. Okay, I think I'm probably... The hardest part of being a pilot is landing. There's no two ways about it. This is where you earn your corn. This is where you earn your corn. This is where no, I'm gonna have to take another bash at it again. But we do need time. We're stalling for time anyway, so it's no biggie. It's no biggie. So pulley system in place, the rope around John's legs. They've got to use the system, and initially it's working. It is working. He does move a few inches, and when you're in that situation, that must be like such a relief. Even though it's a few you moved a few, but bear in mind you've been stuck in the same spot at this point probably 16 hours or more. To move a few inches, it's probably like the best thing in the world. It's probably like winning the lottery, because you can see progress. You can see progress in a situation that looks utterly hopeless. At the same time, your legs are probably going to get snapped in half, but you know what? You'll take it. Right, let's try and swing this round like a articulated truck now. Let's try swing it round. Let me just focus on swinging this old girl around. This is the first time I've piloted a Boeing. And like I say, I'm used to stealth bombers and fighter jets, because you've probably already guessed it, I'm actually a stunt double for Tom Cruise as well. I was a stunt double in Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, so Top Gun Maverick. I feel like this is still probably not, but we'll see. So yeah, the pulley system has been deployed, and oh dear. The pulley system has been deployed, and very much like this plane at the moment, which is in stasis, which it shouldn't be. Are we moving? I think the plane's stuck. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. So, yeah. Anyway, we do get some gremlins in the flight system now and again. It just lets you just drift in midair as you do. So, sorry, I'm going to sneeze. So, let's make sure I can actually still hear myself here, because I've just had to temporarily mute myself. Yeah, I'm good. So, yeah, the pulley system is being used, and it's moved John a few inches. Just bear with me while I notify the air flight control team of this technical error and see if they can send help. The pulley system worked briefly, but unfortunately, because this is a cave system, it's quite damp. The rock isn't always solid. Sometimes it's a bit moist, a bit crumbly. One of the pulleys actually popped out, and not only did that mean that John fell right back in, probably even further in because of the gravity. The pulley hit one of the rescuers on the head as well and knocked him unconscious, or close to being unconscious. So then the cave rescue, the person who'd gone in to save John had to be rescued. So the rescuer became the rescuer. The rescue became the rescuer, if I've worded that right. So yeah, not great. So John ends up back in square one, but probably worse because he's been pulled up a bit and he's been slammed straight back in to the crevice. So yeah. Let's have a look. So are we moving again? We're moving again. Are we moving? We are moving, but is it an optical illusion? I don't know. I really don't know. I do apologise, passengers. It looks like we're going to have to do an emergency landing here. Yeah, we're going to have to. This is unfortunate, really unfortunate. But it's just going to have to be. This is how it's going to have to be. Although it is actually moving. I'm sure it is. Slowly, very slowly. I've got no control over it. Got no control over it. The air traffic control of. So, back to the Nutty Putty cave. Sorry, I will finish this story because I feel like I need to finish the story and then I'll land the plane. So, yeah, the pulley system didn't work. It collapsed. It hit one of the rescuers on the head. The rescuer had to be rescued, delaying the process again, and John was even further stuck than he ever had been before. At this point, he'd been stuck in the cave for 24 hours or thereabouts, if not more. So another rescuer was sent in, and at this point John is becoming less and less responsive, because if you think about it, you've been stuck upside down, you can hardly breathe, and you've got blood rushing to your head. So at some point things are going to start collapsing. The human system, the biology, the whatever you want to call it, of the human system, the human setup, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the organs, everything's going to start to shut down after a while, because you're not designed to be upside down. We're not bats, we can't be upside down, especially when you can hardly breathe and you're locked in place. So even though more rescuers were sent in, at this point it was becoming clear that, yeah, it's probably a lost cause, unfortunately. So the plane is definitely moving, but we cannot land it, unfortunately. So anyway, we got to see Leeds from above. There you go. There's Snowy McCool's stomping ground down there somewhere. Leeds and Bradford, which is which, I don't know. Place called Otley, Carlton, Cookridge, Rawdon, Appley Bridge, Greengates, Calverley. Hopefully one of these is somewhere in Leeds, Snowy, but if not, this will have to be a lot. Pool in Wharfdale. So yeah, it had become apparent after that, once the next lot of rescues went in, that John was unresponsive, and eventually he just stopped responding completely. And eventually it was just, they had a medical expert or a doctor, someone down there, and they made the call that he's died. He's passed away. So it's all Leeds, is it? It's all Leeds. Snowy McCool saying this is all Leeds. Well, that's good. I didn't know which part of Leeds, like where it's called Leeds Bradford Airport. I didn't actually know if is it in Leeds, is it in Bradford? I didn't know which half it was in. Radion, the prettiest of the bunch. Okay. As a Manchester United supporter, you'll forgive me for not knowing much about Leeds and not particularly going there much, because if I ever did go to Leeds, I'll probably get Rawdon, we saw that, didn't we? We did see that. So yeah, John passed away, unfortunately, and after at least over 24 hours, it was decided, look, we're going to have to call this off, because it's endangering the lives of those that are trying to rescue John as well. Now, what the interesting part of all of this is, let's see if it, let's just pretend that we've had what I like to call a Dallas moment. We've just come out the shower and none of that happened, okay? Let's just forget that happened. It was a successful flight, and we didn't have any technical hitches caused by Microsoft. So let's just pretend we've landed. Here we are, we've landed. Just a bit of a blip in the memory there. We fell asleep and we woke up and we're on the landing strip. So yeah, at this point, the decision is made that, yeah, look, John's dead. There's no way to sort of improve this situation now. We've reached the worst case scenario. It's just going to be more of a risk. So they decided not to retrieve his corpse either, which I've read some people have said that's a bit, they could have at least done that, so he could have had a proper burial and stuff. Again, I don't know. I wasn't in the situation. I'm not going to judge here. So what they decided to do, the owner of the land, and also subsequently the cave, agreed to basically fill it with concrete and shut it off because it was too dangerous after that. And that's what happened. So in 2009, I believe, John was left there. His corpse will still be in there now. Probably be a skeleton or something. It'd be quite interesting to see. Quite morbid, I admit, but quite interesting to see. If the concrete reached that far, I don't know. Yeah, concrete poured in and it was sealed off. And now, if you visit the site of the Nutty Putty cave, there's like a little memorial there for John, but it is sealed off completely. You can't get in. So, what fascinates me about the story is it makes me feel uncomfortable thinking about it, but at the same time I'm morbidly fascinated with it as well, because it's just the absolute limits of human of survival, like being in that position for so long. Can you? Imagine it. It's just yeah. And again, people go cave diving and they can end up in exactly the same situation and they still do it. And I just think, wow, respect to you, but not for me. Not for me. So, I do apologise, passengers. We haven't quite had a fully successful flight there. We got pretty much all the way there, but we didn't land it in person because of some technical glitches caused by Bill Gates, who interfered, as he is one to do. But nonetheless, maybe for the next flight we might be a bit more grim but intriguing. Snowy McCool says, yes, absolutely. But that's what we want to bring to the party here. That's what we want to do. We want to explore. We want to explore themes. We want to have a chat. So even though that story has been told before, I want to look at it sort of from a psychological angle. I want passengers to really think about it. Really think about what it would feel like to be in that situation. How would you cope with it? If you were stuck in that crevice, upside down, couldn't move your arms, couldn't hardly breathe. Obviously, your options are limited, but how would you mentally process it? And I've already said how I would try and shut down. I would just be praying for the end ASAP without being morbid, because that is my worst nightmare. And I'm not claustrophobic either, but that makes me feel claustrophobic. So I want to ask the question, what's worse, being stuck in a crevice upside down, or being stuck, I don't know, on one of those really tall sort of radar towers where you get engineers having to go up and change the light bulb? What's worse, being stuck at the top of one of those so high up with no safety harness or anything, you just one gust of wind and you're off, or being stuck underground in a crevice upside down? Which is worse? These are the important questions for a Sunday night. I'll tell you what, I bet it took your mind off work next week. It took my mind off work anyway. The Sunday Scaries were alleviated by another set of Sunday Scaries, but hopefully enjoyable ones. So thank you very much for joining me. As I say, this was a pilot, just a short one. See how we get on. We're going to have a look into this in future. I might change. I might use a different aircraft next time, because I'm not a big fan of this commercial airline. It obviously isn't up to scratch. So we'll be investigating the gremlins, and hopefully that won't be happening again. But yes, thank you very much for joining, passengers. You may take your leave now. You can. The air steward and stewardesses will soon allow you to leave. Please remember all of your baggage. Make sure all of your, all your bits of paper and your safety warnings are back in your seats. And please also be courteous to your other passengers. It's not a rush to get off. If you're the first one off, it doesn't mean you're going to be the first one off out of the airport. You still got to go through security. You still got to get your suitcases back. So, what's the rush? What's the rush? It's a lovely day. Just take your time. Enjoy it. And that's all today from Ultimo Crofto Airlines. Thank you very much for joining Story McCool Gaming. I'm sorry we didn't quite get to land in Leeds, but you got to see it from above. Perhaps that's probably the best way to see it. You would know better than me. I don't know. I've never been to Leeds properly, so yeah. Thank you very much, passengers. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, bon voyage.